So there's a lot going on. There's a lot, as you can tell, as you can feel. Uh,
Maybe they're rewriting your plan. How does that feel?
yeah, I hope so. Well, it's definitely
Maybe you're not going to
changing.
say what you thought you were going to say.
Yeah,
Yeah, you'll
I
start.
know. That's what it
Our
feels
phone's all
like.
different. Then we know we shifted. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely very, very intense, and we are in something completely different. So
Exciting.
it is. Well, this is what I got from Sammy today. You think you're done with the slides. I think I've told you before, it's like trying to hit a moving target, like, okay, I think I got it all right. And then, new things started coming in. So I typed this in at the last minute here. So she was saying the parallax has changed.
Oh,
And I had to I had to look up that word because I didn't know what that meant. So a parallax, when I looked it up, it's a change in your apparent position um, relative to like an object far away or in the distance, and it changes your perspective. And that's exactly what has happened now. And so uh, everything we thought we knew, I know we've talked about this before, but now it's like really everything that we thought we knew before is not what we thought it was. Is the feeling. So try to define things here as we go, but I'm like, well, is it going to change again? What I'm trying to say today, and it very well could, as our perspective changes. So she said, there's changing of the guard. The true stewards of the earth have returned. Obviously, which is a good thing. So I'm gonna try and describe things, but I feel like I don't know, in 3 months, in 6 months, I could be saying scrap that. Um, it's all different now. And it has to do with the flower of life and the slant, the tilt of it, all of that. So just bear with me as we go here. So we're going to talk a little bit about the missing emerald tablets, the so-called missing emerald tablets, and the fruit of life and corrections. Even what I presented from the 321 2023 live meeting. And I honestly didn't know that there were even missing emerald tablets. It was news to me. Um, when last year, Sammy said, you need to draw the emerald tablets. And I'm thinking, I don't know how to draw the emerald tablets. What is that? Even though I felt close to it and I could relate to it. But so anyway, I just started drawing that last year and it didn't make a lot of sense. But now it's like, aha, oh, I see what goes into that space there. Um, so uh, how did I get to see the flower of life quote cut and the corrected flower of life? So I'll talk a little bit about that process um, of how that is happening. Hello, welcome. We just got started, so you didn't miss a whole lot, except, and then you could read what I wrote, but Sammy told me today, so it's pretty exciting times. Uh, all right, come on. We're supposed to advance. Okay. So the full flower of life, the Eternal Templar Cross, the crystal spiral, the lotus of life and life ether, the eternal flow of Christ consciousness that spins the crystal spiral to activate the full flower of life, which bridges the quantum realms of subatomic particles into the matter worlds. And is this the copper rose gold lotus as the life ether? I think that's part of it. Or are there other lotuses for each type of life that's on the planet? So these are still kind of questions that are kind of hanging out there. Um, I'm actually going to start with the Ouroboros, which is an analogy of our trajectory. So I changed this slide earlier, but I guess it didn't save. But uh, you all understand. So the intention of the meditation is to heal schisms at quantum manifestation levels with the Peridot Sun, which if you saw my recent post or blog, and dissolve the inverted Templar Cross. And that's kind of interesting. And then activate the Eternal Templar Cross to activate the full original flower of life, the fruit of life, and activate base genetic codes. So I'm going to start with this, which looks kind of complicated. So trying to give an analogy using that Ouroboros again. So, if we start with this, what I've just been calling the point of origin, the original breath, this one in the center here, that then divided and birthed these 8 other breath spheres, I just call them. They're just these vast, it's like each one is like a vast omniverse themselves. So, and that was approximately 950 billion years ago. From the perspective of time that we had, the dense time where we think this is really slow. So it's not, in a sense, it's not going to be that, I don't know, slow is not a good word, but let me just keep going here. So in the vision that I was shown when I got, pinged at my unicorn point on 11/11/21, this is kind of the movie that I like watched, this, and then it divided into, it became 8, and then these 2 kind of went off on their own. And I just saw them kind of go, they just left the group. But the original is always there, just like with our dark matter zygote, our original is always there. So, and to me, it didn't feel like there was any fighting, like a rebellion or anything like that. It was just, it really felt very matter of fact. Okay, you want to try creating on your own, and they left, and what it felt like was then these created sort of the fallen universes, because when you're not then connected to original source, after a while, you're running out of your own energy, within those systems. So then there was 7 left, and then the universe continued to evolve, so to speak. So, but because of these 2 left, they kind of started distortions. And so this is what kind of became fallen consciousness, or distortions, distorted consciousness. They forgot they're part of source, the point of origin. And so this is like a creation cycle. And the Ouroboros, meaning coming back to, right, to that point of origin. So it's like creator had an experience, and now it's time to close out this creation experience, so to speak. And so everything is returning back to the point of origin, and it's as if these 9 are all together, right? We talked about those 9 omniversal beings from as expressions of everything is going back to this point of origin. And in that last post, or one of the posts, this, in the eyes of creator, in a sense, it's all healed, past, present, future, right? It's all healed. They're all back together. And this is now sort of the emanation that we're getting is from here, no longer here. And it's as if the emerald suns, all these suns are, let's say, birthing, but it's along this trajectory, right? So this is the ascension path in a sense. And that's why eventually all the distortions will be healed. Even these fallen beings, these archons, they were all part of that cycle of kind of descension. Um, and obviously, this is going to be disruptive in a sense because now, when the healed aspect is sort of radiating out to us, then it's like discernment. You go, oh, wait a minute, I'm not doing this right, or there's something not right about what I was thinking or how I'm doing this, that kind of thing. Not that everybody will right away be thinking in those terms. They might obviously still try to fight it. And again, but it's all returning to that oneness. Um, and so what that looks like obviously is going to vary between each person and their trajectory. Some may pass on from this life transition and then come back into another body somewhere in the future, et cetera, et cetera. But this is all closed out. This is done in a sense. And is this going to take 950 billion years? Well, again, this is from a dense time that we've been thinking where things are kind of slower, in density, things are slower. But as you ascend, the vibration gets higher and higher. So time and uh, frequency are related. Just look at how fast things are going now. That means because we're vibrating higher. And so the manifestation, which is the unfolding of time, in a sense, um, is happening faster. So we're already experiencing time going faster. And then as we continue to ascend, let's say then someday we'll be like seventh dimensional physical beings, then the time is going to go even faster at that level. And so 950 billion years is just from the perspective of a very dense, the most dense that we have been. But not really quote worrying about quote time, but just continuing to do what we're called to do. And in a sense, it's like we've already done it from the future perspective, and we're living the past now. And in a sense, so it's kind of, we know what to do, and it's not something that, and as humans, that we can think. That's why there's all this talk from other, spiritual leaders and guides about uh, we'll know what our quote job is or our mission is, and you'll just do it without understanding. Go left here, go right there. I think I'm supposed to do this now. Um, and things, as we're seeing, things could change on a dime. So this is kind of the big picture. And what Sammy was showing, in the last couple of meetings or so ago, is this genetic seeding of the human, which she had said was 47 billion years ago, but it's on this trajectory. And the human, were the genetic seeding that we're on is so that we are alchemizing these distortions, which means healing the distortions within ourselves, as we have new epiphanies or whatever. emotions that we were holding on to from other lifetimes, thought pattern, healing thought patterns, all of it. This is part of the alchemical healing that we're physically designed to do. So I hope that makes sense. But that's kind of the process in a nutshell. Right. So let's go to the next slide. Okay. The sacred book of the Avatar, the Emerald Tablets. So the Emerald Tablets contains the information of the human design as an expression of source. It's like the manual, you know. And when the other, let's say, Emerald Tablets was stolen, because it was stolen, and that's how they distorted the human light body and our form so that we die, and obviously the flower of life then, as it was manipulated, was part of this because it's in the Emerald Tablets. But I guess there was a part of it that was missing, so somebody hid it away. Good job. But I always felt like, so I know you see me kind of like put all my titles here and stuff, and it's copyright because I feel like, they steal things. I felt like something had been stolen from me, and not just me, but other souls who are part of the Emerald Order. It's like a memory that, this was stolen, it was taken from us, and usurped. So this missing Emerald Tablets has is the manual for the human and the Earth as well, the solar system. So it has information about the design of the Earth, the sun, and the star map on the planet, which are like portals, and they can travel to other places in our not just our solar system, but in to other gosh, where am I losing my words? Other constellations, other planets, and other constellational systems. So the design of the plants, the animals, even the microbes, all of it, the symbiosis of the planet and how we're supposed to function. So yeah, alchemized distortions means healing, that we're healing all of this. And many galactic beings are and will incarnate for their healing and participate in this evolution. So, Pleiadians, Arcturians, Andromedans, higher dimensional beings, as Sammy was saying recently, they were cultivating the full genetics of that human seeding on that planet, and now even plants, and now we're converging on Earth to collectively do this ascension, and so they have other higher dimensional genes and gene codes for that full 12-dimensional avatar human. So this is what was, I didn't understand, was this, like, I was like, wow, look at that. When I first drew it, that looks like the kind of that Merkaba star, or that Star of David that we see everywhere, but these spaces are like blank, or not blank, but they're supposed to, it's coming in from 0 point, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's based on 0 point and the vector equilibrium. So this is kind of the anatomy of that image, which I've been sharing before. This is the vector equilibrium, as Buckminster Fuller called it, because all points, all lines here converge to 0 point. So this is, if you can imagine, this is more of a three-dimensional object. This would be depth. It goes inward, and has depth. So this means that the human design, based on the Trinity and the Tri-Wave, it should be more natural and easy for us to hold neutrality, to be neutral, in a sense. But we've had a polarity game playing out because of the way the human design was tampered with. So again, by fallen beings, and they are going to have to heal themselves or heal as well. What that looks like for them, it's going to vary. But today I was, or even since yesterday, I was even seeing that Samantha and I, in quote, other lives, right, galactic lives, we weren't always on the quote same side. Sometimes we were actually in opposition to each other. And that's because she came into the 3D time reality through the future, and I came in through the past. So like we like split and then converged here, but there was a reason for that. And so it was kind of interesting, but that's kind of why um we're like the sine wave and the cosine wave were um compatible in that sense. And that was why we had to split off. And so we had other lives in the galactic realms where we were in opposition. And so that there was healing going on between that, between us, in a sense. So just throwing that out for, other people, other parents, maybe if they can relate to that. So the fruit of life, I know I realized I should talk about the flower of life first, but this came up first. So the fruit of life is the geometric coding, which is, and then I had to cross that out because this was from the March 2023 meeting. Part of the full and corrected flower of life and energetically describes how we are interconnected with life force of the planet and all life on the planet. It describes the symbiosis of the natural order of life, because this fruit of life, the form of animals, us, plants, it's an expression of this life ether, is the sense that I have. And so that particular life is sort of the fruit, right? The flower, when the flower petals fall, then there's a fruit usually that comes from that. And so it's like our expression, physical expression is like the fruit. And so when we are in alignment with these natural laws, then we bear fruit and we are fruitful, but we are fruitful with all other life on the planet, because we have this innate knowing of our relationship with everything that's around us. So it should be more, well, it's the design is supposed to be where it's innate, not the current way we've been living. So it gives the planetary multidimensional soul consciousness of, let's say, Terra, Tara, Gaia, and the 12D Earth, her instructions and purpose to care for humans and all sentience and life on the planet. And that also comes from, the Emerald Tablets as well. So it gives the multidimensional Earth the information to support humanity in the healing of all distortions and fallen consciousness. And in other words, the Earth also has a soul mission, which is to go back to the point of origin where all distortions and fallen consciousness is healed. So yeah, I didn't, I'm sure if you look up fruit of life, there's a description about it, but I was like, well, what else? What would come in if I just asked instead of reading what somebody else has written in the past? Um, so this was so based on the flower of life, this is what the fruit of life looks like. So, and I shared this before. Did I write anything else about that? Yeah, it comes from the Emerald Tablets. And again, it's like connects us to all life on the planet. Yeah, so it's shortened, right? And this is if you go every direction, there's 9. So like the 9 original sound tones or beings, spheres. There's original sounds as well, but there's I think different ways that we can look at those original. So this is how it kind of came about. We've been talking about this lotus of life. It should be the lotus of life and not the flower of life. And now we're back to wait, it's the flower of life. Uh, Again, new perspective, right? So the flower of life holds the seed codes to manifest into a form from the unseen realms. It's about again taking those quantum particles, which are in randomness and kind of chaos, and organizing it to create a form, and uptaking dark matter, let's say, to create a form. So there's more to learn about this. So it's gives us the geometry, the proportions, the shapes that can exist, on the planet. So the platonic solids have been called the basis for the geometries here. And I know other people have been noticing that the geometry is changing. There are other different types of icosahedrons, 20-sided polygons, and dodecahedron, which just simply means it's a 12-sided polygon. So there are other types, and I know there are other people noticing that there are new geometries emerging. So we may someday see a plant with a different kind of shape to it, or a flower that has a different kind of shape to it, and et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, so it it has 64 spheres, but it's cut off. Now I came to this because I was watching the Terrence Howard, interview on Joe Rogan. I know some of you may have watched that, and it's very controversial. He's getting a lot of flack because he says 1 times 1 is 2, and amongst other things. So he's getting hit a lot by traditional scientists, and every which way he's coming at him. But when I was watching it, I only watched the first hour still. I don't know if I'll be guided to watch the rest of it, but because it was like my brain was just really active. And I noticed my brain was processing from the center. So if you think from left brain, I could say, okay, 1 times 1 equals 1. But then when I think from right side of the brain, I go, wait, 1 times 1, because you really pulled 2 things out of the quantum field. You have a 1 and a 1, and because we're pulling things, we're manifesting from the quantum field, so to speak. And I was like, well, now you manifested 2 things because there's 2 ones, and so I was kind of driving myself crazy, but this ping-ponging, but the center of my brain was really active. And so he's talking about the flower of life, and he shows these different shapes that if you look at it from these in-between spaces, there's something different, these different shapes that are emerging. And I was like, wow, that's brilliant, you know? It's like he's seeing from the negative space of what can be created, or emerged. And yeah, I don't know if everything that he says is quote true, but I mean, I was impressed with the way he was thinking. So anyway, then afterwards, I was like, and when I first seen this flower of life, I thought, you know what, that looks cut off. Like, shouldn't there be more spheres here? If it looks like that, why aren't there more spheres there? And so then Sammy afterwards, as I'm starting to go bing, realizing this, she said there should be 144 spheres, and uh, that's cut off. So I started thinking, well, what in the world would it look like if there's 144 spheres? I don't know. I mean, um, I the app that I use can't, I'm not going to go try and draw 144 spheres and then line them up, perfectly. I could, but that would take me forever. There's other programs that will kind of multiply and replicate, a pattern like that. So I don't have that. But anyway, so then I thought, okay, well, and she said, what if I completed this? So I started drawing the points. She said it's shaped like a star. So then I started drawing the the points on it, and I was like, wow, that looks like that Merkaba star, but it's tilted, you know. Uh, so um, and it pointed like a star, and you notice the kind of hexagon here. It's like a hexagonal shape, but it's missing a lot of spheres, and it's 144 minus 64 is 80 spheres. Like there's that eight, isn't that weird? I don't know. I don't understand that, but I don't think that's a coincidence, I don't know. So I started looking at that. And then the app that I do have, Procreate, you can rotate things. So I said, okay, how many degrees would it take to rotate it so that it's upright? And it was 30 degrees. So it's been 30 degrees slanted. Oops, try to go back to the last one. Oops, come on. Oops, I'm going forward more. I'm not going back. Where's that thing again? No. Previous. 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 Yeah, there we go. Sorry. So I can't draw the 144, but I do know that the ends are supposed to have these three spheres at the end. So there'd be more, sounds like this would probably be wider, and then there would be more spheres that then come to this point of the three spheres. So that's how I came to that. And then, you look and you go, oh, look, there's the emerald tablet with those missing spaces. And it goes in there. So, this part of the emerald tablet is the hexagon shape, and the flower of life is that hexagon shape. And then it's got the points in it. So I was like, oh, there's the missing pieces. So the 30-degree rotation even is significant because it was warping our electron and proton relationship so that the electron was not spinning properly, and then it affects our dense matter because we're made of these atoms. And supposedly so is all our DNA, right? Those are atoms that come together, and if it's not functioning properly, this is how we became, quote, dense. So it limited our how upgrades to our light body, and even the five-pointed etheric body translates and upgrades to the physical body, meaning, so we're doing all this healing, we're doing these meditations, and we're cleaning out our light body spheres, and we're cleaning the etheric body, cleaning the, the nadis, and we're doing all this stuff. And you're going, okay, why do I have to keep doing that? And how come it's not translating to the physical body? Like even a couple of mornings ago, I woke up and I could kind of sense my intestines, and I'm seeing the word like vitamins and minerals, and as if my guts were manufacturing uh, vitamins and minerals and things. And so then I asked the question, well, is this happening to my physical body, or is it happening to my etheric body? And I was like, it's happening to the etheric body. And I thought, why isn't it translating to my physical body? Is it the message I got was where it's coming to that now, and it's this correction um, of matter, how we relate to dark matter, how we relate to quote what we call a quantum field. And I say quote because I think that word is even going to change, someday. So this is what is underway now with this correction, these corrections, so to speak. Oh, and this writing and stuff, I don't know what it means. I wrote it. It was more not thinking. My hand was just doing it. So there must be some connection that I'm making with my light body and etheric body, because there's a knowing there that my brain can't understand. So the flower of life and the fruit of life. Okay, so if we put that in there, voila, we get the well, it doesn't look completely totally aligned, but here, but you could see that it's lined up with the emerald tablets in the background from 0 point to the flower of life, which seems to be like an interface. Right now what I'm getting is interface with dark matter and liquid matter, which is like antiparticles and antimatter. And I think antimatter is considered negatively charged protons, because in our world, protons are positively charged, and antiparticle, I think what physicists say is positively charged electrons. Maybe it's supposed to be the other way, I don't know. But it's that interface that we get. So it wasn't translated to our physical bodies, such as the ether body to the physical light body to the meridian channels, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it's functioning somewhat because that's why we can function, or we're alive. So all of that could not be taken away or completely distorted and remove our connection with that, because otherwise then we wouldn't be able to live. And it's not that the flower of life hasn't been healing for people or operating. So there is healing, and again, it's been within sort of a certain bandwidth, or within a certain box, so to speak, when really we could be much more fruitful and healthy and easier to remain healthy. So, like I had shared, this is abacus, a symbol from Sammy from like 2017. And she said it activates the fruit of life from within the original flower of life, you know. And so I was racking my brains out, like, what does that mean? And I showed it to a few people and they didn't know what it meant. Um, so it's been all these years when I didn't know what to do with it. And then, I'm hearing other people talk about, well, it's the lotus of life, it's not the flower of life. Then, I think, well, maybe this is wrong, you know, because more information is not coming up about it. But again, everything in kind of due time at the right time, when everything is available to us, we can um, make sense of it now. So she was right. So how was the flower of life distorted? Well, this was an interesting conversation I was having with Chastity. So we were getting ready to meet, and then a couple of days before, it was kind of like, okay, we want you to work with the corrected Templar Cross, you know. So, you know, we get together, and so then we start looking at it, and we go, oh my gosh, this is inverted, right? So this is the distorted Templar Cross. So it's like a seal. It cuts you off. So I'm seeing it as like implants in people, and also seeing it on the grid map. Chastity was seeing this too. The grid map on certain grid points that then, Chastity's been talking about like folded maps. Like she's like, why do they look like they're folded? Like the history is hidden, you know, on top of each other. Well, it's these Templar crosses that have been in the grid points, and so you can't access the true hidden histories. And so then, we're like, oh my gosh, so even around that, uh, the points of the flower of life. And so then, you can't access the petals, let's say. Uh, and yeah, blocking the true history. So then afterwards, I thought, okay, well, if this is supposed to be flipped around, what is it supposed to look like? It opens a diamond, and this is the opens the flow to Christ, universal flow of Christ consciousness. So this entire universe, since 950 billion years ago, it was created on a trinity, a tri-wave. And so the basis of this entire universe in all dimensions and all timelines is supposed to be the tri-wave. So if this is open, we're supposed to be continuously getting that current of Christ consciousness from that original point. And that was the distorted Templar Cross was blocking it. So, I feel like the people that talk about this and have used it and are using it, but the distorted Templar Cross, and all I can say is, we didn't know until everything just started opening up. We just didn't know. Who knew? Right? So I'm just saying, so and so is infiltrated, and so is, I mean, we got to get over that kind of thing. Is my feeling at this point. So this is why I call this the Eternal Templar Cross. And so this is that these points that of that original kind of Templar cross. And these diamonds means it's going inward, right? All the way to that original point of origin. So because this current, we need this current, it's because it's that eternal Christ consciousness that activates the crystal spiral from, let's say, underneath the flower of life. So, we would be getting that current, and it would be, then spinning to create that form, to create the form in a sense. It activates the seed codes. So the correct Templar cross corrects mirroring, which means like top to bottom, bottom to top, left to right, right to left, right? This is mirroring masculine, feminine, the above and below, or like the father and the mother. These should be mirrors in a sense, or reflecting in a sense. And when that flow is blocked, then this is what it means when we're getting inverted mirrors where something else is being projected to us. The mirror can be manipulated, and something else is being shown to us, which may not be, quote, true, or even outside beings, these other fallen consciousness beings that can then kind of harvest our energy for their use, because they ran out of their energy. Really, I mean, those are the fallen universes to me. So this corrects the mirrors, and this shape is also, if you remember from our last meeting at all, it's kind of the shape of our entire entire universe. If you zoom out, anyway, that's what I was shown. So the key code to open this flow is 1, 2, 4, 4, 8. I did tell a couple of people there's 1, 2, 4, 4, but yeah, we need the 8. And what this means is from the 1, 2 birth from the 1, 2 became 4, and then the 4 birthed 4 more, and then there were 8 other sound tones, or I don't know, omniverses from the original 1. So this opens that current. And today it came to me that 18 means from the 1 came 8. So 18, which equals a 9. And today is June 18th. We're meeting on the 18th. So yay. It all kind of lined up. Okay, so this is the image of abacus in the center, activating the fruit of life, which we'll, obviously be using in our meditation. And also, we got a recent transmission from Andromeda a few days ago. So you can imagine that breath of Christ consciousness, that flow, it comes through, and then it can be transduced to many other sound tones. So this is what this represents. I don't know why I saw it this way, almost like a flower kind of rotating, and these colors represent the flow of Christ, that flow of Christ, eternal Christ consciousness, coming in different sound tones, which would be like the frequencies. So we'll also be working with the Peridot Sun, which is emerging from, well, it was birthed from dark matter, and it infuses Christ consciousness into our physicality, into like all the atoms, all the quantum particles, so to speak. It's all based on Christ consciousness. So what this will do, you know, will be interesting. But the way we're gonna work on it, and the way, when I started using it myself to see, it's like we're continuously manifesting this body, like over and over again, so we're not solid, as some of you know. We're continuously manifesting this body. It's an illusion, and it's happening so quickly that we have this illusion that we're solid. And so it's happening in smaller than nanoseconds. I mean, I don't think we can even fathom how small that is. But in that, the analogy I was shown is like, if you imagine in a movie, when they plant something in subliminally, because it's one screenshot, one screen, that might say something like, I don't know, go buy a new car, you need a Ferrari, maybe something like that, that's flashing in there. That's subliminal. So in this continuous manifesting, it's like there are these filters that kind of block the manifestation, or a thought or an emotion, or those kinds of things. So what we're going to be doing, and you might do it a couple of times, a few times, but is imagining, like, in less than a blink of an eye, smaller than blinks of eyes, that we're going to clear these fractal layers at the most refined level that we can, I don't know, imagine, and to clear out those in-between spaces, so that we can take that infusion of Christ consciousness into our very matter. So that's how we'll be using that in the meditation. Now, these genetic seed codes, I actually drew this a few months ago, and again, I didn't know what to do with it, at that time. But after I drew that Emerald Sun, these started to come alive. So within our genes, we're supposed to have these codes that says, you are an expression of creator. You are a soul, S-O-L, like a sun. You are like a sun. You move in living waters. So living waters to me is sort of like the womb, right? We're in like a holographic field to be an expression, right? That we come from outside of time and space, and we're coming in to this dimensionalized kind of container. And so this is like telling us we're always in these living waters of like the mother, the womb, these plasma waters, and there is a life force infused in all of it. So that's kind of the idea of what to have a gene, DNA that tells us that this innate knowing is significant. And the other one, the fourth one here is you are beauty. Now, there's obviously more, you know, I'm sure at some point we'll discover what the other ones are, or maybe somebody else is holding them, you know. But yeah, this will be quite interesting to see what happens when people innately know more of this. Um, so I just wanted to do like a quick, review from the beginning. So the Emerald Tablets contains the instructions for human design and the Earth design, which includes all life on the planet and the symbiotic relationship for the ascension back to point of origin before distortions, and includes the calculus and mathematics, which dictates the geometry and proportions to take structure and form from the sound codes. So it's like the flower of life is the basis. So, and the eternal flow of Christ consciousness comes through the Eternal Templar Cross to activate the flower of life, generates the crystal spiral, which is the eternal flow of Christ consciousness, to be infused into life. It generates the lotus of life or life ether to become a form or bring us to life. The fruit of life is generated, which contains mathematic and alchemical codes for the algorithm and transduction sequences for specific life forms and species. So in simplified terms, this means how the genes will repeat in patterns and sequences, which is the translation of the creator's languages, aka the multidimensional morphogenetic code. So it's translating it. And some of you, also in Chastity's group, she's been talking a lot about like words, anagrams, right? Words that if you have letters and you move them around, those same letters will spell a different word. That's like the patterning. And so our language is off in our words because I feel like now if the DNA, the genes, they have a pattern how to repeat, right? Because there's 4 basic DNA, right? Guanine, cytosine, thymine, and what did I say? Guanine, cytosine, thymine, and adenosine. Yeah, adenosine. Uh, Something like that. I'm losing my words again. So they have a pattern, and they're told how to repeat, in a sense, and uh, that's like the language of our DNA. So if that's been kind of scrambled, then has that affected our words and our language? And I would say yes, probably. And there are some words that are interesting, and I think people have noticed this too. Not anagrams, but the word like possess, your possessions, and but we also use it for someone's possessed, right? They're like they've been taken over in a sense by a dark forces or dark entity. But yeah, we use the word for our possessions. So anyway, I mean, there are all kinds of things like that, examples like that. So, the abacus symbol unlocks the fruit of life by transducing the eternal flow, eternal Christ consciousness flow of sound breaths for each species. So those are like the geomantic coding. They have like a pattern, they have a shape. Then the pattern of the DNA sequencing, the rhythm, even as if like the pattern, has a rhythm to it, a beat. So the harmonics, the proportions of the geometry, the measuring of gene and time sequencing, she also said, which is in synchronous beat with the cosmic body of Christ consciousness, is um, the way it came. And Samantha called it simpatico, like staccato, but simpatico. So, and it has the earth activated. Oh, this was a question now. Does the earth activate the full flower of life and fruit of life? And what I got was, it's in progress now. So um, it's in, it's in the planet, and it's filtering right now. It looks like it's filtering through uh, densities. Um, it has a Taran feel to it. So meaning Tara, the original fifth dimensional planet. Um, looks like there's something else that has to be completed first. And oh, okay. So it looks like the 9/9 this year, 9/9, 2024 will be will be, I don't know if completed is the right word, but it will be almost completed. And the I was wondering about the fall equinox, but actually, um, in the next eclipse season in October, it's gonna that'll be significant. Somehow I'm not sure right now, but because you want to know, like, can we get moving with this now? So this will be kind of beginning to make the adjustment, so to speak. So I think the next part we're going to go into the meditation. Go to meditation. Looks like we're doing okay on time. See you again soon. Thank you.